916. Okay, it's 9:16 a.m. Monday, October 2nd. Yeah, it's dark in here, but I don't feel like turning on the lights or moving and opening up the blinds, whatever. We're rolling, so uh um yeah, I haven't like showered or anything yet. I just sent my son off to school on the bus, and that's why I didn't share this yesterday, because I had, it was the weekend, so I had my hands full. But this dream that I had was not this morning, yesterday morning, so Sunday morning, so Saturday night. So I woke up Sunday morning, and like I said, I didn't share it then. I'm sharing it now, and I wanted it to simmer a little bit too, but like I said, I had my son is like, yeah, both hands full lately. Obstinance, yes. So, and this is like right before I wake up, and it's very vivid, and I'll share the main important elements. It was all just like boom, 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 all just happened, like, seemed like seconds, but so I'm in this, like, it's very well lit, sunny, like circular grassy area, like a perfect circle, all grassy, sunny. There's an apple tree right in the center of this grassy flat area, and it's like also surrounded by like buildings that are like in a circular, really tall, well, maybe like, let's say like, I don't know, 4 stories. I'm thinking it kind of felt like the height of my the college I went to. It was kind of like, to get everything on the amount of land that they were working with, they built a lot of the buildings 4 stories. Oh, I remember climbing those stairs. Yeah, San Joaquin Delta College. So, to maximize their space, so they had a lot of really tall, 4-story buildings. And of course, a lot of my classrooms were like room 400, blah, 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 all the way to the top, right? Lots of stairs. But, yeah, those stairwells, so yeah, very familiar. Anyway, nice, cool place to hang out when it was hot. It gets hot in the valley there, but anyway, side note. Well, Joaquin, it's just like a version of my son's name. It's interesting. That's the county I lived in. That was the name of the school I went to. My son's name, it's a version of John. So Joaquin is the Spanish, and Zoshim and Elijah, all these, all versions of the same name. Another side note. So I'm just thinking of these buildings, and I was like, it was about the height of, and then my school popped into my head. And it was kind of like, it was the same color as this wall that I'm going to explain. So it was like this terracotta, like, and with the sun shining on it, it really looked, it had kind of a pinkish kind of hue, but like that sandstone kind of color, like the, it's just like a really sunny kind of color with just, it's a really light, like sandstone, like terracotta-y, but not that dark orange brown, really light orange brown. Like that Santa Fe, they used it in the Santa Fe color scheme a lot. So it's kind of just like this tan, kind of light tan sandstone color with just a bit of pink, barely noticeable, but with the sun's shining on it, it gave it that kind of a little bit of a pinkish glow. So I could see that there's buildings surrounding in a circle. And it seemed like there was like lots of windows and doors, like maybe hallways kind of out in the front part. So it was circular, so we were encircled by these buildings, but you could see up the sky, the sun was coming down, so you could see the sky was all open and airy and everything, but it was encircled, okay? Excuse me. And there was, so the apple tree, so I'm standing there observing this, I'd say, like, definitely teenager, but like high school age, like mature, like full grown, but still young, like teenage, but tall, young man, looked like blonde, blue eye, looked like an angel or something probably. And so he was like picking apples off the apple tree and stuff, and his mother was there, and she was probably like in her 30s, maybe late 30s. She seemed young but mature, And like I said, he was like teenager, but also like full grown, okay, like full height and everything, but you could tell just like barely 18 probably. So like blonde hair, blue eyed, his mother was there observing it, so I'm observing him picking apples, and I think he said something, but I can't remember, and but it was just like it was just peaceful and joyous, and calm, and she was just standing there still, and she looked like she had like longish, like light brown kind of hair and like a long skirt, kind of flowy, seemed like maybe white with maybe like flowers, like a little bit of floral faint on her skirt. She just seemed really pure, and just all this love was emanating. So everything had a really good feel to it. Very still. I remember it was just like, oh, we're just having a beautiful day, enjoying the day, picking apples, and the stillness and the beautiful blue green grass, the sunshine, everything, the nice breeze, perfect temperature, all that. Because like I said, she was just like in a skirt. She just had like a blouse and skirt, and he was just like pants and a shirt, and I didn't see what I was wearing. I don't know if I was observing through like my 3D self or my, my spirit, but so everything seemed very perfect, peaceful, balanced, still, calm, good. The whole thing really, but so it was that scene, and then it went to me going up and up and up and up, and as I went up, I was able to look down, and what I saw was a wall, like the same color as those buildings, and it seemed like a wall, but a little bit curved, like if you were looking at it from the top, okay, like a wall would be flat like that. So say, okay, this is a top aerial view of the wall, okay, but it was a little bit concave, so I could see from the top that it curved a little bit, because I remember like having this point of view over here, so I was looking at it like this, so I could see that it had a little bit of a curve to the top, okay, just slightly, just barely, like a shovel, like not even that curved, okay, but perfectly flat and smooth. It looked like sandstone. And I remember at the top right, like when you're in high school, when you're in school, you have to, that's where you'd have to put like your name, the class period, and the date or whatever to have all your information on there when you turned in your classwork. So it was like written there, like top right hand corner, it said the word in red, and the first letter was capital and the rest were lowercase. So the first letter was a W. It was capital W, and then the rest lowercase. So it was the word written. So the word written was written on this wall in red, and it looked, and like I said, capital and then all lowercase, and then it looked kind of like, kind of like craggly. My hair is like super poof, I don't care. Like that old English kind of Germanic sort of writing or something, kind of like hooks, like craggly on the outside, but like really defined and like it was a sign, almost like a professional sign being made, like the lettering. Okay. Almost though as if it was embedded in the rock, not like a sign protruding, because I was kind of like, oh, it's like on it like a sign, but then it kind of like merged, like it was showing me it was actually in the rock. So the word written, and so I go, oh, okay, so I go, I'm just gonna, I'm gonna get off camera here, because bye bye, love you guys, because I need to look up some things here. So I just type in the word written and go to Gematria. Oh, and it's apple season right now, apple harvest season in Israel, because I looked up apples first of all. And there's Norse mythology and King Arthur mythology. I was getting kind of like birth, rebirth. It's like fertility. It represents like the original sin and all that. So this is like this full circle coming back to that. So let me just read a couple things here and then I'll go into the other stuff. So the apple and the legend of King Arthur, and this is www.jwheel, which is J and then WEEL.com, and I'll put the links below. But so in the Arthurian legend, so King Arthur, the apple gave its name to the magical island of Avalon. And Avalon, I went Apollonian, Apollo. Okay, so Apollo was coming to me before I even made this other connection. Okay. Excuse me. So Avalon indeed comes from the Welsh word afal, which means apple. Very interesting, afal, because that's when they harvest them, is in the fall. So afal, A-F-A-L. One word. Okay. So in the tale of King Arthur, Avalon Island is a place of great magic. It was there, it says then, it should say that. It was there that Excalibur sword was forged and given to Arthur. This, the word, I hate it when people like have websites and they don't get the wording. And okay, anyway, I shouldn't say hate, but so basically it says powerful forces of creation, death, and rebirth. Okay, so it's like a return. Okay, the original sin, the apple, it started it all. It's returned to that, so it's like the judgment of all the. Okay, so they talk about the Celtic mythology. She talks about the other one I wanted to mention was the apple in Norse mythologies, because like my ancestors are like all the my dad's grandfather was into all the Norse mythology and Norse legend. The rest from that generation on were Catholics. But so in the Norse mythology, apple trees were the symbol of rebirth and beauty. They were sacred in Norse mythology. Goddess Idun was the designated guardian of the golden apples, which preserved the eternal youth of the Aesir, which is immortality, and Aesir is A-E-S-I-R. And that kind of feels like ether. Aesir, ether, it's like ether. The eternal youth of the ether. Immortality, because it's like the etheric form of us is our spirit, the perfect incorruptible part of us, our etheric body, is another way of saying it. So so yeah, this is a good little website that mentions a couple different ones. Doesn't get too deep into any of them, but it and then of course the apple season right now, October to November for many of the apples, apple varietals. What else? Okay, so when I looked up the Gematria, very interesting. Oh, what did I do now? Okay, here we go. So, this is Gematrix, because I just wanted to type in the word written, W-R-I-T-T-E-N. I'll put the link to the site that I'm using for Gematria. So I type it in, and this is what I get. So the first one is written in Jewish Gematria equals 1, 2, 3, 4, and written in English Gematria is 6, 5, 4. So like things being in order, 1, 2, 3, 4 is the Jewish Gematria for the word written, 1, 2, 3, 4. And the first word that they have down here is witness. And that's funny because when I saw the word written, I was like, oh, it kind of seems like witness. Written, something that's written is witnessing something. You write it down, you record it somehow. So whether it's a person recording an event by observing it, so you write it down. So 1, 2, 3, 4, written. There's witness, and there was a couple other things that stood out in here. 88 years. Somebody search for that. That equals 1, 2, 3, 4, and 88 is Christ. 888 is Christ. So there's a couple different ones in here that stood out, and I was like, very interesting. So, Shin and Sheen, the holy marriage, but that led me to, why does it say 67 in red over here? I'm going to click on this, because very interesting, because God already led me to a 6776. And so this said 67. And something with Israel. This is just 67 comments. So, okay, so there's 6. This is just as I'm looking at it right now. So that's very interesting. There's like this little ad on the side. There's like this little red tab that said 67. So I'm getting, okay, up, and then there's numbers all in there that, okay. And I already talked about the Pleiades before, the 7 sisters, okay? It's 444 light years away from us. 444, okay? The 7 sisters is also called Messier 45, or M45. So Messier, that sounds like messenger in French. But I haven't looked too much into it. So anyway, that's just some stuff that I've been looking into because of all this stuff with the 7 this and 7 that, and 7 sisters comes up, and I look at that, and that's Pleiades, and I've already had visions of, and I've shared this a couple times before where I asked God, what's the starseed thing? What is this? Because, all these things match up where people say you feel different, you're this, you're that. Been given dreams and messages from God about such specific things for your whole life. Okay, so as I'm looking up, like the 7 candle holders, or the 7 candlesticks, the 7 churches, the 777, okay. Because 777's coming to me, and lots of people, and so the Pleiades pops up, and lo and behold, it's 444 light years. Okay, so I shared that before. I had the dream, or the vision, I should say, right as I closed my eyes. That was the day that all the filament drift, and I saw that shiny object in the sky. I shared that. It was all the same day, and I had the vision. of the blue bull, and I looked up what that was all about, and it's also associated with the Pleiades. Taurus. My brother's a triple Taurus. So, okay, now I'm gonna share. So the apple, I was trying to so Avalon, Apollo. So I'm like, okay, so Apollo fumbled through my mouth. Okay, so I play with words like that to see how it's related to other things. And interesting, I typed in Apollo, Apoolo. I wonder if Marco Polo has something to do with Apollo. I don't. Anyway, so I look up Apollo Theater because that the Apple website where they're talking about the apple, the legends and the different things it means and associated with Adam and Eve and the Norse legend and blah blah blah. I think that was the one where they said it's also associated with Apollo. Okay, and think of Apple, Apollo. So this is just Wikipedia. So I just search Apollo, Apollo, and symbols are lyre, laurel, the python, raven, swan. Interesting because swan. Okay. I was getting visions of an archer lately. And because my Sagittarius rising, Scorpio Sag rising. But, so it has python, raven, swan, lyre. Oh, because the lyre bird. Interesting. And I've already pulled that oracle card. That's the songbird, because Apollo represents the song. Okay. And Laurel, interesting, someone who just helped me out with a situation I was having with some social workers. She is an angel. Her name's Laurel, okay. The Python card, the last animal card that I did, that stuck. It didn't come out, but it showed itself. It must have been, maybe it was on the bottom of the deck or something. And Raven, of course, is. But it's interesting on Wikipedia what they're. They don't go too far into everything, but because we did Greek mythology in junior high and high school, so whatever. Interesting. You can't learn about Jesus or anything, but you can learn about all the other stories. But it doesn't matter. Just take the truth from it and leave the rest. Because God gives it straight to you. He'll come to you. It doesn't matter if you're in Papua New Guinea or wherever you are. Jesus will come to you. So yeah, it's talking about Delphi and the oracular God, the prophetic deity, blah blah blah, the healing. Okay, but this wall that I was getting, I'm like, well, what? Okay, Apollo. There's something in here that he wants me to I'm not gonna get into all the ancestors, his mother, blah, 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 all these stories. The main thing was that song and healing stood out. And the python, the lyre is lyrebird of it's like a mockingbird. It's a very song filled bird. And within its song, it contains, all the information from the ancients, okay? Because they've always stayed connected with spirit. It's humans that have been, disconnected. So, so the song, okay, the lyre bird, but for him, it's an instrument, okay? The Lyre. It's I'm not sure, I didn't look it up, but it's an instrument, okay, that he plays. The hymns sung to Apollo were called Pleiadians. Kind of seems like Pleiadians. Anyway, so with the Apollo Theater, his song, the fact that healed. He also brought plagues. Okay, so in Greek mythology, Apollo was the one who brought healing, but he was also the one who brought plagues. And so I was thinking, okay, this wall that I saw and written, and the healing, and the, okay, and apples, and people say the Big Apple in New York, it could have been New York. It looked like more of the older buildings that I saw where I was. It just seemed like, because that was like the first colonized, so they have the oldest buildings in all of the country are, along the East Coast. So, so it could have been New York, because the apples, is considered the Big Apple, and a lot of people have been getting apple dreams and having apple synchronicities and stuff. So, and the Apollo Theater is in New York. But the thing I was getting, because of the 144,000 in this song, and I've had this dream, I don't know, maybe, well, since I had my channel, so within the last year and a half, but it was probably last year, maybe sometime. I remember it was a beautiful sunny day, and there was like this incline, like a hill. People were walking up from my left to my right, so the peak was going towards my right, so people were coming up on my left, and I was like on this chain link fence, like hanging like in a Christ pose and singing a song. In the dream it was just saying the word Jesus, so I was just Jesus, and I just kept saying that same thing over and over and over and over as these people were walking up and my son's preschool, okay, Zion was the name of the street it was on. It's just like, now it's Union. I mean, it's just, okay, so anyway, it's like return to God, the way we were supposed to live, and the planet, the health of the planet, the way it's supposed to be in perfect harmony and balance, and all this. It's a return. It's going to be beautiful. We just have to surrender to God's will instead of being attached to the flesh and being afraid that, oh, we're going to die. Oh, no, we know we're eternal. We know that pain is temporary. We know that God is real. We know Jesus, like he's our brother, like our king, that we, like you see the queen and king, whoever, ruling the president, this, that, on TV all the time, or like having meetings with like these people who, that's how tangible our king is going to be. Hands on, can you imagine? This is why we feel so lonely, disconnected, all this stuff, because we just want to be with God. Like we want to be like in the presence, like be able to right, just be with Jesus, like see him, hear his voice, be with him, right? This is why we're like, it's not that we don't love, because there's just a lot of evil infection down here, so it's hard to stay focused on all the good stuff, even though it's not that we're not grateful, we love it, it's beautiful, but okay, there's all this distraction, so it makes it very difficult. So that, and God knows that, and he sees what's happening, so he's going to bring this healing. And so this song that they're talking about with so Apollo and this healing song, okay, it reminded me of my dream, and then this connection that I keep hearing. They say the 144,000 are going to be singing this special song, and I was just making all these connections, like, yeah, all these theaters, all these like sounding boards, that came up recently, triggered me kind of, but I was like, okay, I'm allowing it, because God catches your attention in certain ways, it evokes a certain emotion, so that it hooks, that seed hooks into you, because God's going to use it later when he discloses something. Oh, my bracelet just fell off. Okay, good. Glad it fell off at home. How did that happen? Very interesting that it fell off, but it's... Are you kidding me? It fell off, but it's still latched. And I couldn't have just relatched itself, falling on that. Wow. Very interesting. Okay. Falling on the floor. I'm right on the floor. There's no way that could have relatched itself. You gotta press pretty hard to relatch it. Okay, we're moving on from that. And it's not broken. Like I'm saying, how did that just come off my arm? Yeah, okay. We're, whatever. It doesn't matter. So, the healing from the song. So God's going to give us like our divine language again. We're going to be unified in language. Everything, the songs, everything that we do is going to be according to sacred. Everything organized according to like the sacred geometry, and everything of God is, if we build anything, it's going to be like I say if we build anything, God provides natural shelters. We don't have to build. God's the builder. But, like he says, the yoke's easy, so we don't have to do so much. But as long as we're obedient to God and do what God is letting us know we need to do for our best interests, So this connection to God through this song, this healing song of, what I was thinking with these like theaters and different things, like we're using them for ego and the devil's gotten in there and all this stuff. Whereas before they had healing songs, harps and healing music and beautiful things celebrating God, healing songs that I was just getting download like, oh my goodness, like healings, mass healings could take place. God gives you certain sacred tones that create a certain vibration off this giant sounding board. So the whole mass of people in that group receive that healing. And it's just channeling God through the sacred tone that he gives you, the sacred songs and tones and activating words or whatever that's perfectly aligned with divinity, the way God wants everything to be. Pure, no languages, everything being turned up, flipped around, upside down. So we're saying things that we think are just normal words and names, but see, that's why God renames people. That's why God says there's certain ways to build the temple and this and that, because it holds a certain frequency, a certain vibration that is aligned to God, and that harmony, that balance. Okay, so and people have been getting like, okay, something's going to hit New York. I didn't see, I've been getting the big wave dream since I'm 15, but I didn't see that in my dream. I just saw, as I pulled up more and more, it was like that wall, and it said in the red letters, written, and it looked like a huge sandstone wall. So, yeah, because they also said something about stones and gemstones and stuff. These natural springs where he had the different oracles set up. And I'm not saying this is evil, good. Everything, the church is infected. Everything's, there's good and evil everywhere, seen and unseen. So more and more seen these days. So that's why discernment and focusing on God is so important right now, because as we discover truth, there's truth in some dark places, and that's why a lot of these things have been hidden for so long, because we go, oh, that's evil, so we never go explore it and go liberate the souls out of there. Okay, which is what Jesus, Harriet Tubman, slavery, we're gonna blah, 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 whatever. But, she just couldn't rest unless she did God's work, okay? God wasn't gonna let her sleep, probably, because she was chosen to do that. So, and that's the Christ consciousness right there, liberating souls, freeing souls, and that's what we want to do. We try to help do God's work by bringing souls back to God. That's our whole mission, is reconnecting souls back to their source, God creator, that divine spark, reminding them that that's inside of them. Okay, so they can tap into that, and so they can connect with God, and then that way no one can take your God away from you and say it's in a book and then take your book and burn it. Okay? So I don't know if I covered everything about Apollo that I wanted to. Oh, so let me show you. Oh, goodness me. So I kept hearing, I'm going to have to turn the light on now. So I kept hearing this number 70 with all this like, and I don't know all the feast days and all that. I just know, like, as God shows me, things are so overwhelming. I don't have time to like go delve into, but he did show me certain things, and certain numbers and stuff. And I kept seeing 70 and 777. So, and then I kept hearing people say with this, okay, the 40 and 70 and all this Jubilee stuff and blah, blah, blah. So, let me show you really quick. So I'm like, God, I know I kept seeing 70 and 70 and 70 on stuff. Well, this right here, this is what I make my breakfast sandwiches with. 70 calories. Okay, there's a 70. Right there. And there was another 70. I'm like, God, why did I keep seeing 70? I know, so I like, this is the garbage. It's clean garbage though. There's not yucky stuff in there. So, okay, so another 70. Okay. So then this chocolate, okay. And I thought there was another 70 on the inside of this package, so I opened it up, but there's not. But I want to show you. Okay, so this is just the candy bar, whatever, unopened. So, but see this again, red and white. Okay, equal exchange. Now, in 55, well, that's 5 is grace, and it's doubled, so it's just a master number. But this equal exchange, and see how it's red and white. Red is the flesh, the blood. Okay, man, that represents man, the flesh, and the white represents purity. That's the spirit. Okay. So this equal exchange, it's like the sacrifice Jesus made, right? Because he said no more sacrifices need to be made. He made the ultimate sacrifice, so all sins would be forgiven. No more sacrifice would need to be made, and all souls could be redeemed. So as long as you have that truth awakened in your heart, because it's already in there. Okay. Oh, very interesting. Look at that. There's a little Star of David right there. Let me see. Can you see that? Right here. Hello. Balance of the masculine and feminine. Equal exchange. Okay. So letting the flesh be governed and ruled by the spirit. Okay. And it's a process of healing and purifying and surrendering to God and humbling yourself, surrendering to God, humbling yourself, surrendering to God. So not that it's easy, but it's the only rewarding thing I've ever known, and it's the only thing that I'm passionate about. It's the only thing that drives me. It's the only thing that, because I have had money. I thought, oh no, having a child would do. No, God's the only thing. God's the only thing that does this, because I've done it all. I've given birth. I've been pregnant and given birth. I've had money. I've had lots of money and little bit of money. And I've had schooling and this and that and knew nothing and then knew a lot of stuff and then realized you really know nothing again. So this equal exchange coming full circle, okay, that apple represents rebirth. Okay, so coming full circle, yes, things need to take place. Things need to be, when you have to take medicine, it's bitter, it doesn't feel good, but it's worth it. Okay, because the exchange is an equal exchange of relief of whatever is ailing you, because the whole point is to get back to center, to balance, because that's where God is, okay? So, my whole thing is I'm not holding on to anything, even though I know what I've been shown. Still, if God decides if whatever his will is for me at the last second, he might decide something else for me. So this is where we need to be, instead of like hoping to just be like, rescued from God and going, okay, but maybe there's some harsh stuff that needs to happen before then, and we need to be strong enough and faithful enough to trust in God that however he does it is the way it's supposed to happen. And we need to surrender to that and accept that, and not hold on to some hope that we're just going to be swept up and swept away. And I hope I hope everyone, I want every single, so I want all the dark fallen ones to return back to the other 2/3 that stayed faithful to God, and everyone return to God, everything come back to the light. I want that. I don't want a single soul, a fallen one, a single anything to be destroyed. But they will be if they don't choose the light. If you don't choose the light, there's not going to be any more room for you. So, being prepared is to be prepared for anything. Okay? Whatever God's will is, whenever. We know it's soon, okay? And we know what we've been shown too, but we still need to be prepared for whatever God's will is, because we don't know exactly everything that's going to unfold, okay? And what our role is in all of it, and what God has for us. So we need to be open and willing, and just keep that faith and stay surrendered to God. And trust that even if we have to get our head sliced off, whatever, that God's got us, okay? It's his plan for us, and he knows what he's doing, and trust in that. And there's nothing to fear. So that's that. I'll try to put the links below of the sources that I use to pull from, and then if there's anything else that you want to... Oh, there was one thing. Hold on. Sorry, I'm not trying to be on camera. I just wanted to show... when I went to... Was it the Apollo? Okay, when I typed in Apollo Theater, went to Google, typed in Apollo Space Theater, and over to the right, it shows the little ad, the little Google review, and then the map, blah, blah, blah. It says, see outside, see photos, yada, yada, yada. And down here where it says events, it has Wednesday, October 4th, it says amateur night, but I saw... what did I... angels, I forgot the word that I saw now. Oh my god, now I'm seeing a meteor. Amateur. Oh my gosh. Amateur night, October 4th, amateur, a meteor. And then it says Friday, October 6th, Saturday, October 7th, we shall not be. The next one, we shall not be. It has an ellipse, and I didn't click on it to see what the whole thing is, but it just says, like, a meteor night, and then we shall not be, we shall not be. Oh my goodness. And there's a lot of 5-3. It's 253 West 125. So there's a 5-3 there. And then in the phone number, it's 531, 530. So another 5-3, another 5-3, which is 8. Again, Christ consciousness. The dream I had when I asked my twin flame what time he had to be somewhere. Like he was going to... Oh my God! That's right. I thought he was like going to a movie, because the only thing and I shared this the last time I shared this. Maybe the first time I shared it too, because I was like, the only thing I could think of him having to be somewhere, because he didn't have a job, he didn't have like doctor's appointments or any kids or anywhere where he'd ever have to be somewhere at a certain time. So I thought it was odd that I was asking, like he had to go somewhere and be somewhere at a certain time, and I was asking him because he was like, he was late, and I'm like, what time do you have to be there? And he said 10:11, and I was like, well, 10, like he was late for a movie, because that's the only thing I could think of. He doesn't have a schedule or any responsibilities, or classes or anything like that. So I thought 10:11. Oh my gosh, because I thought he was going to a theater, because that's the only thing I could think of where he had to be somewhere at a certain time. And at this Apollo Theater thing, when I Googled it, okay, all the way to the far right has that column with all the stuff, information. It says 1011 Google reviews, 1011, 111, but it's also 1011 like he said in my dream, and I thought he was going to a theater. Like I said, that's the only thing I could possibly think of, because I know that he does, you know, he asked me if he could take me to a movie sometime. I'm like, how's that ever gonna happen? I have nobody around me, no babysitter, I can't take my son to a movie theater. I'm like, unless you got some friends I could baby. Yeah, that was the only mention of that ever, so. Oh, we don't think about stuff like that. But anyway, it says right there, Google reviews 1011. I'll add this link actually under there too, so you can just, and it probably still be at 1011 unless someone just wrote a review recently and just put it up there, because I just clicked on this yesterday, last night. So, oh my goodness, 1011, it's right there. So there's more confirmation. So I'm just saying what was in my dream, what I've already been shown, the things that I'm seeing right now through the trail of breadcrumbs. So, whatever it is, it is. But I was thinking, well, if it is a wave, I was kind of like, it's more going to be at like a wall of sand water, not necessarily, because if you think of the west is, because it's a subductive zone in the east, and this is just basic geology that I took, but you can research it for yourself. But when I learned this in geology class years ago, that's why the west coast is all craggly and rocky and cliffy, because it's popping up out of the water. It's kind of like buoying up out of the water a little bit, whereas the east coast is a subductive zone where it goes down underneath the next plate. So that's why their beaches are nice and smooth and long and sandy, and the west coast is all cliffy, craggly, okay, because it's like tilted down. It's not flat. So if there is some big wave coming in New York, maybe it's not going to be like just a wall of water. It could be like real sandy or something. I'm not sure. But that's just, I haven't gotten confirmation. Like I said, in that dream, I didn't see a wave or anything like that. This was there was lots of different elements in there, specifically for the 144,000, because of that song and what it means, and the healing. I believe that the activation and healing and realignment codes that are going to be given to us from God through, phonics, through graphemes and phonemes, through symbols and sounds, colors, all these different things are from God, and he's going to use, these are the tools that we're going to use to heal, balance, harmonize, all that. Harmonize with the planet, with the animals, with God, all the things divine, the way God wants us to be and to live. To be, right? Not to do, to be. Oh, there was something. Oh, yeah, that's right. There's Cal B was the name on these P-snap things. I'll just show you really quick so you can see what I'm talking about. I'm not trying to get on camera. But anyway, yeah. Cal B. Anyway, there's stuff that's happening with the bees, and you know, California provides a lot of fruit and food for the whole country, for all of the United States. So the Central Valley, which is like just an hour south of where I am, it's, you know, that's the fertile Central Valley in California. And, you know, if we don't take care of the planet and the bees and all that, we don't eat. We don't take care of ourselves. We perish. So this is the predicament in which we find ourselves, and we can't blame the government and all this stuff anymore. It's time to be empowered and reconnect with God, take accountability for stuff, and get strong and make it right again. Help God make it right again. This hope of just being swept up in the clouds no, I want to slay these demons. I want to, you know, liberate souls, bring them back, reconnect them to God, and help carry out God's law. And like, I want to work for God. I want to work. I feel like I've been waiting to do this my whole life, and all the work and education, all this, it's never been satisfying. Nothing's ever been satisfying. Food's not satisfying anymore. People love their sleep and their food and their this and that. It's not satisfying. As beautiful as the landscapes and the trees and the sky and all that, it's beautiful. I love it. It's not satisfying anymore. I want to get on with it. Like, I'm getting antsy. I want to get on with it. And I was talking to God and saying that last night. I'm like, it's not that I'm ungrateful, God. I just want to, like, this anticipation. We just want to get on with it, right? Whatever it is, let's just get on with it. Let's get him. But, you know, God's so good. It's hard to stay mad, right? Because he'll pop something in your head that makes you laugh, and then you're just like, okay, whatever, fine, I love you, it's all good, I trust in you. And so we're just kind of like hanging out in spiritual limbo, like just waiting for God, waiting for the next sign, we know it's soon, we know Jesus is coming, you know, we can feel it, we know it. So, you know, and even if it never happens in my lifetime, this is how we're supposed to live, always waiting on God, always waiting for Jesus to return, always expecting that, you know, always looking for God, always waiting on God, always expecting God, looking out the window. Was that God? Was that God? Is he here? Is he here yet? Is he here yet? Right? Like antsy children, they're so excited to, right? Like, we've used this analogy and other people have too, like waiting for daddy to come home. It's what we're doing. It's just like so excited, just waiting for daddy all day, right? So but our Father keeps his promise, so he definitely will be on time. So I love you guys. That was a long one, sorry, but there was just, I had to let it flow. But not sorry. You know, don't be sorry, be deliberate. And if you're that way, then even if you end up being quote unquote wrong, you're always still coming from your heart and going with God's guidance as best as we can interpret, using these the senses that we have that have been oppressed and infiltrated and messed with and cursed and hexed and vexed, and you know, so this reconnection with God, it's a lot of good working through muck that the devil has used, these impediments to put in our path to distract us from God, to obstruct our vision. So clearing out all the gunk out of your eyes and purifying, you know, cleaning out your all the gunk, the cobwebs of this, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. And God knows that, but as long as we keep doing that work and striving, always putting God first as our focus, have God be our dangling carrot, right? Then you can't go wrong, because you're always coming from your heart and putting God first and focusing on God. And even if we get excited sometimes and we're coming from ego a little bit or what, and we have to check ourselves, and then whatever, we're fallible, we're corruptible. We're not the source God, we're a spark from that. So this flesh has been infiltrated, okay? And Lucifer, he knows all the skills. He was in heaven with God. He knows all the things that we're trying to do to be good for God, and he uses that against us. So we need to be very discerning, not fearful, not on high alert, not just be very discerning, especially during these times. So just focus on God. Don't let anything distract you, your own ego, all these things. The devil will try to use everything. Dreams, put weird stuff in your dreams to mess up the message their angels are trying to give you. And, the dark angels it's just, they try to confuse everything, distort it all, make it unclear. So don't worry about focusing on what does this mean and what does that mean and the Pleiades and and past lives and all the Jesus is going to come save us, and just whether it's good or bad, the main thing we need to be focusing on is God. Just put God first, keep focusing on God. You get up every day, every moment, keep choosing, re-choosing and re-choosing God, so that you can stay in your heart and stay focused and stay ready. And we don't need to be going down any rabbit holes at this point. We need to just stay focused and stay ready. So that's being ready for anything. That's what being ready is being ready for anything. And not thinking we know, and even if it's backed up by scripture, know that everything is corruptible. God is the only thing that's incorruptible. Our own mind and everything is corruptible. So we have to remember that. Battery's running low, so that means I gotta go. All right, stay focused, stay in faith, stay strong, stay open to what God has for you. And yeah, let God be that dangling carrot. All right, I love you guys. Peace and blessings.